How you doing, YouTube? It's Archimedes here. Basically just came on today to do a little update, kind of give you, I haven't been posting as much, I haven't been doing as much. I kind of went through like a little period of depression, and I'm still kind of depressed, but I'm slowly trying to step out of it. Man, I don't think I've ever really posted anything about myself since about January or so, but while I can't tell you exactly what it is, I can tell you that the past 5 months have kind of been hell, so to speak, as in like there was the 1 month that I did trucking out of about an hour and a half south of where I'm at now. And something about that company just did not set right with me. If I would have gone with my gut feeling, I would have never hired on. I don't know of any other way to put that. Like something during, I didn't even do an interview process. I guess I did, but as soon as I filled out the application, they were wanting to hire me. They ran background check, and they said that my driving record looks phenomenal, that my driving experience and that my towing experience or hauling experience is just widespread, that I was one of their top 5 drivers, and they've had drivers that have been driving for nearly 20 years and still didn't have the broad area of, so to speak, expertise as I did, which I was kind of stunned by. That one actually took me by surprise. But I guess a lot of the guys there had only hauled grain carts or trailers or something short of that effect. So obviously I've put a few more experiences underneath my belt as far as a professional driver, but they said that the background in my driving history was phenomenal. Everything about my driving record just looked fantastic. And so they were in a dire hurt to get me hired on. Now granted, when I did that, I was supposed to be a owner operator, but that idea I don't think ever would have come. I really don't. Basically, I quite honestly, I was miserable driving for them. And a lot of that was due to the fact that I was just overwhelmed with work all the time. Not really overwhelmed, but I don't even know how to explain it. I was just burnt out. I really was. I was working, I was getting up at 3, sometimes 3:30 in the morning just to get in the truck and get started by 4, leave out by 4:30 or so, depending on how low the temperatures were. And even at that, I still wasn't getting home till 6 or 7 in the evening, which still only gave me a couple hours of sleep. And I first couple weeks really wasn't that bad, and then when you really started getting into it, it's like, when am I going to catch a break? Granted, now I did have weekends off, but I wouldn't have had insurance or anything like that due to they basically hired me on as an owner-operator, even though I did not have my own tractor yet. So, the company did have some promises still yet that they had to fulfill, but everything else about them, me personally, I felt like was just a flat-out fucking a blatant lie. Now, granted, my inability to purchase a truck was not on them. However, the company that I was trying to work with that wanted me to drive, or that wanted to help me buy a truck, basically needed all but like a written contract saying that I'm going to be hauling this for the next umpteen amount of months, and I'll be able to make enough to make my payments. That's pretty much what they wanted in writing without actually saying it. So when you don't have that, when you're a new owner operator, it's hard to get your foot in the door. It really is. Now there's some customers that I have, or some folks that I've hauled for in the past that I'm sure would love to have me as a driver, or at least haul their product when it comes time for the season. But that's only a couple months out of the season, or maybe a couple weeks at most. And that would not have solidified me. Now, I did do a lot of cold calling, trying to find out, hey man, can I do some transfers for you? What is this going to run? That's not a bad run. Can I make that? And some of these sounded like that you would have made good money, but in the end, it really wasn't going to pay that much at all. So I was kind of bummed out about that, and basically hum-hoing around about what I should do. And I just thought my only thought in my head was, get the fuck away from this company. I don't know what it was. I strongly feel like that company was holding me back big time. So I did. I was legitimately there for 1 month, and I left. I walked. Told them, hey, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. At the end of the week, I'm out. I'm done with this. I can't do this anymore. In the meantime, during that time of driving, I had another company calling me that I've worked for in the past, wanting me to haul milk. Granted, I told them absolutely not. No fucking way. I am not going back to doing that. I hated that to begin with. I'm still going to hate it now. And they said, okay, if you ever change your mind or whatever, we're paying a lot more. You're going to make more money per loads, shorter runs or whatever. You're going to have some long hauls in there, but it's not going to be that bad. Sounds cool, but no. And eventually, after quitting that company down south, I did go to this company and said, hey, I need something momentary. I've got another job lined up. I legitimately have to wait until they get through their hiring process and give me a call so that I can go and get hired on. Literally, the job is waiting there for me, but here we are, still waiting. And the first month really wasn't that bad. Did a couple runs here and there, and then we did a run going east, and ended up over there by Dallas, actually east of Dallas by about like 2 hours. So anyway, so some of those runs really weren't that bad. They really weren't. But then you had some of the runs that were more local, like to Hugoton. And that's only about 2 hours from here. And I fucking hated that run. It was nothing but a bunch of sitting around. And of course, once you got there, you couldn't get out of the fucking truck, by their standards. And I hated it. It was only supposed to be, drop a trailer, run back, grab another trailer, drop this one. I mean, it was supposed to be a bunch of dropping hooks, and it never, ever turned out like that. It always ended up turning out to be a 20-something plus hour day, and by the end of which, you were too tired by the time you got out of there and could go home. You were too tired to go home, so you just ended up pulling around the corner and just jumping in the sleeper for about 4 hours, 5 hours. And a lot of times, I was so fucking tired from that, I couldn't wake up when my alarm was going off, okay? So I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I am so sick and tired of working for somebody that's going to continue to blatantly lie to me for their benefit. And they'd been promising or swearing that since, back in February that things were going to change. They weren't even going to make those types of runs anymore. It was either going to go out east, and that was supposed to become a weekly ordeal. And those runs pay about $900 or $400, and it's about an 8-hour drive. Or they have some that go just up into Iowa. And I thought, well, that's all into my stomping grounds up there. I can do those runs too. I could stop and see family or friends or whatever, and by the time it was all said and done, I started thinking, it was like, no, I'm not going to do that either. I don't think that would be wise for me to get into that. So I opted out of that. And by the time it was done, I ended up telling them, you know what, I'm done. I'm out. I'm not doing this anymore. I cannot do this anymore. In fact, I will not do this anymore. You guys kind of lied about this, and then you guys swear up and down that things are going to get better. And in the end, they were like, oh, well, it's because of this company, huh? It's, because of that company, and they, they just couldn't get in and get unloaded. And it's like, no, not really, not entirely. I mean, that's a portion of it, but no. And to me, when I stopped and looked around, everything that I hated about hauling milk was showing its face at every single opportunity. Like, I never got a break there at the end. If I hated grabbing this hose and using it, darn the luck, I was having to grab this hose and use it. Whereas normally during the warmer months, they have a separate option, and it actually loads you faster, you know. Or sometimes they have to wash the silos, and that takes about an hour. I swear, it seemed like I was showing up every single time they were washing the silo. And I just got so sick and tired of that. And I mean, every single little detail that I hated, I ended up dealing with. And I was like, you know what? I feel like something out of anybody's hands is pushing me out the door saying, get the fuck away from here. Get the fuck away from here. Get the fuck away from here. So I told them, I'm done. I'm out. And they were like, well, you know, it's because of this. What? Well, no, not entirely. But if you guys are, you know, said so hard up about finding a place to put the blame, instead of finding a way to accept the blame, then that obviously shows everybody else you are part of the problem, not the solution. So after about a week of sitting at home trying to figure out what I was going to do, I actually had a older family member pass away, so I did go up north and deal with that. And I was there for about a week, maybe just a shy bit less. And in the process or whatnot, about a week prior to all this, I actually started looking into making a purchase. And I would consider it a pretty big purchase. I can't say what it is yet because it's not indefinite, but the shoes are walking in that direction. I'm receiving phone calls. I'm filling out the process. I'm doing background checks and histories and things like that, and getting my banking in order so that they can see everything so that I can buy into this. It's a pretty hefty purchase, and it really is not going to take me that much to get into because I'll be making payments, obviously, but it will be my own, okay? And I don't have to worry about a company telling me, hey, we kind of need in contract or some kind of writing that, you know, are you going to be able to make these payments? How do we know you're going to be able to make these payments? It's like, I don't know. How do you know somebody's going to be paying on a house? You know, they're buying homes for 160, 170,000, some people 340,000, and they only make like 100,000 a year. So how do you anticipate they would make those payments? And I'm only looking to buy an $80,000 truck, and yet you seem to have a problem with that. It's whatever. I mean, at this point, it's too late to complain. I think my days of truck driving are kind of retired, somewhat permanently. I mean, I may end up back into it some way, form, or fashion. I don't think I'll ever get away from trucks, but I think if I did, the only way I would is if I owned it. And I'm sure those opportunities will come up, and I will definitely have more money to work with. So for now, all I can tell you is that I think a name that I've come up with is Proteus. And if you know anything about some Greek gods or Greek mythology or anything, then you know that was a prophetic god that served Poseidon. And if you know anything about any of the rest of that, then you'll be smart enough to catch on to the subtle hints. So in the meantime, I'll just leave it at that. When it's all said and done, I'll break the news kind of in a unofficial way. But I mean, this is, like I said, this is a big move for me, and I'm excited. I mean, I was more excited about my credit finding. I have been working on my credit so hard. I have been paying stuff off or making payments on time, and it's been a roller coaster the past couple of years. But I feel like I'm finally in the door of something that I can be proud of, that I actually don't have to work that hard. The hours might be there, but only by choice, because I'll own the business. It'll be my business. I'll run it how I want to. All I have to do is just jump in and show up. And I feel like this gives me a chance to stretch the muscle on my past history, so to speak. Like, so in the past, I've, as an employee for this company, and so long as this company's successful, then I still have a job, is the way I've always looked at it. So with that being said, I've always strived to do good with customer care. Hey, you happy with this? How's this look? You want to change it? I'm here to change it. We'll change it right now if this is not what you want, and a lot of customers are really easy to work with, and you'll find a couple that are just kind of a pain in the ass no matter what. So at some points I was kind of like, I was told, don't worry about it, they're going to bitch no matter what. In the end, that only means that they're happy. That's kind of just those people. So I've also strived in the past to maintain a good on-time history. So with that, meaning I have strived to show up on time, or I don't like to be late. So I've always strived to be on time. And with that becomes, if I can show up in the mornings to these places on time, I think I'll be in good shape. I mean, it doesn't have to be exact to the T, but I need to be started when they are so that I can get a good jump on my day. And from there, that should leave me in the route of being successful. The rest of that, everything pretty much does its own thing. I know it sounds simple enough, and it's not, but I also feel like this kind of gives me a chance that in the past, I've always had the jobs where you have to have this done before you can do this. Before you can do this, you have to do this. And before you do these items, you have to do this. So it's like a chain reaction of events that have to take place or things that have to be done in order to achieve this. And a lot of my past has always relied on, I have to be at this place by a certain time, and as soon as I do this, when I get there, I have to pack up and do this. When I get that done, I have to head over here, and it was a race, a constant race, and I feel like that kept my anxiety levels way up. And I feel like this is going to just allow me to just simmer down, take things at my own pace. I'm looking at it, and I've done a ride along, and I'm just kind of like, I really think this is something that I would be good at. I really do. And even when they checked my credit, they were like, you kind of live a really humble lifestyle. You don't have a whole lot of bills. You don't have a lot of payments. That's quite impressive, actually. And your credit history, I was stunned by, but they said your credit is actually above average of the people we find in your position that have just had enough. And I'm like, really? Okay. Did not expect that one. That one, like I said, that one caught me by surprise. But I'm definitely moving forward. And at this point, this train doesn't stop. I am on the roll now, and I don't see any reason to stop. Like I said, it's going to take a little money to get into, and by the time it's all said and done, I think it'll be around August or so, maybe, is kind of what I'm understanding. I still have to do like another week mentor ride or whatnot, and then I have to go to Ohio to do training for about a week, or 10 days or whatnot, and then I come back. And I'm not sure how the rest works, but I know there's still a few more steps that I have to do in order to achieve having my own, or being able to kind of be on my own from there. And that's about all I can tell you. So in the meantime, like I said, this is just kind of a quick on and an update. Still out of work. It's been a month now since I've not had a job, and I have never felt more liberated in my entire life. Truly. Like I said, when I was trucking there for a while, I got back into heavy back into the caffeine. I was drinking sodas all the time, wasn't drinking any water, and I'm slowly trying to wean myself off of that again and get back into the drinking water situation, which hopefully once I get into all this, I'll have all that set back down and can continue this life of sobriety. I don't even know what today is, the 23rd, 22nd, 23rd, something to that effect. I think it's the 23rd. Anyway, so what does that make? Like 18 months, 17 months, something that I don't know. Sober, which I there for a while. I joking on. I was on the brink of just saying, you know what? I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna have a drink. I don't have to work tomorrow. I got 2 days off after working 2 weeks straight. I'm going home. I'm grabbing a drink, and then I would get right there. I would fixing to crack open the bottle and pour one, and I just decided, you know what? I cannot allow this company to beat me like that. I cannot allow them to beat me down like that. And so ultimately I refused it, but I feel like if I was that close, then I was right back into the same situation that I was in before, where I just said, fuck it. I'll do whatever you guys want to do, and I just don't like that idea. So in the meantime, you guys stay cool, stay frosty. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I can give you an update soon on what's happening next, or kind of keep you informed. There's literally maybe a handful or so of people that actually know that this is happening. Most of those people are not my everyday people that I would keep in contact with, but definitely people that I would care enough to keep updated. And anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see y'all next time. It's fucking exciting. It really is. I'm fucking stoked.